I mean, this is a very sensitive topic. And so this is a warning to anyone who may feel triggered. I think it's best that you don't watch this. And because we are talking about self-harm and mental health, and it can be quite triggering to anyone who has experienced this, or you know someone who has experienced this. So we are sending you all the love, all the care, all the hugs, and all the kisses. But it's advisable that you may not watch this until you can be able to consume this information. Yeah. People tend to take self-harm as a disorder. It's transferring your emotional pain into something physical.
Nafikanga point in when someone is depressed or going through a mental illness where they don't feel anything. Like emotionally and psychologically they don't feel anything. Because I want to feel something.
Yeah.
I want to feel something. So because I can't feel joy right now, I'm depressed, and I can't feel sad, anyway I'm depressed, hadi nimekuwa numb, let me feel pain. Let that be the one. Let me resort to feeling pain.
Yeah. When you harm yourself, ama when you feel pain, sometimes it clicks you back into like, guy, what have I done? What have I read? It inaku bringing you back into reality and snaps you back and be like, oh my God, you need to start loving yourself. That's why even people be like, hello, you call your therapist and you're like, imagine I harmed unajisema, because you can't imagine you going back, ama you starting to harm yourself, and you're always like afraid.
What exactly drives you to self-harm, and what can you do instead of self-harming?
I know we always say it's going to get better, but trust you me, when you take what is needed and when you do what is needed of you, it will absolutely get better.
Welcome to My Take by Noni, where you get to see the world through the lens of two funny, quirky, creative Gen Zs who are sugar, spice, and everything nice.
Here, we give our 2 cents on life, societal norms, and basically anything that answers the question, why?
Does it need an opinion?
Trust us, we've got it. I'm Muthoni.
I'm Gathoni.
And this is My Take. Hi beautiful.
Hi handsome.
I'm Muthoni.
I'm Gathoni.
And this is My Take by Noni. Woo!
Woo!
Gathoni.
Gathoni.
Gathoni. It's giving a Corino. It's giving a Corino. 7.
Sina maoni.
Una maoni?
Sina maoni.
Ohoro wako.
Demwega.
At this point, guys, itabidi mmelani hizo greetings. Because hizo ndo ziko juu. What's the call of these days? Ohoro wako. How are you doing? Anyway, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing.
You're doing amazing?
Yeah.
Define amazing.
I'm doing well.
You're doing well? You're doing great?
Anyway, how have you been?
I know. My week has been amazing. My birthday passed. And I'm now another year older.
You want to tell the people how
what I tell them is, if you scroll through my page, you're gonna find out for yourself. And my page is at Miss Muthoni. That's a shameless plug again. I'm always shameless plugging. Please, ukipata opportunity wacha nionge, lakini naomba nijitoe kidogo. Anywho, you wanna tell us something you're grateful for this week?
I'm grateful for you.
Oh,
We were celebrating your birthday this previous weekend, so yeah, I'm grateful for you.
Yay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. So nanifanya ni feel pressure niseme pia mimi niko grateful for you. I think I'm grateful to God for just another year, and I'm also grateful for my friends. To my friends for showing up and always just love. I was just talking about this recently, and I was saying to be loved by genuine people and to know that you're loved by genuine love by genuine people. Such an underrated experience. Yeah, but I'm thankful to God. Yeah. Anyway, let me just tell you something. As I was saying that, nimekumbuka there's this podcast I was watching, and the host was saying we always take for granted how unaona venye sahii watu wanatutaka, unakatiwa. Kuna watu experiencing that maybe in a you might unaenda in the rural and then nobody's even paying attention to you, na sahii wewe ndo kiki wa pali umetoka, I mean Nairobi or something, so we just take that for granted because unaweza jipata uko 32 na uko kuna mtu hadi ako interested. Na si ati unakaa vibaya. Ni venye tu sijui, I don't know. My Lord, may that never locate us.
Amen.
Amen. With that, amen. Can you give us the verse of the week?
My verse of the week is Philippians 4:6-7.
Nikaenda kusema 4:16.
Mine inakwanga, do not be anxious about anything, but by prayer, sijuangi, through prayer, through thanksgiving and supplication or something like that, make your requests known to God. Yeah, that's my verse of
John 1:4. Him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. He was the light of mankind. I think we as human beings, I aspire to be the light of somebody. Mtu ananiona anasema this is the light that's lit my world. Yeah, that's my Bible verse of the week.
Okay, what is your song
of the week? My song of the week, I've been listening to this new album ya Ariana Grande called Eternal Sunshine. And my song for the week is Imperfect for You by Ariana. Yeah, and your song for the week?
I feel like mine is just Chikwere.
Hey, love.
I feel like when I got to hear it live, I was just like, thank you guys.
Stop. You cried?
I don't have time to cry.
Walai.
But that song is just
amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Kwanza when he was singing it, Chiki was there. So like,
your song, I usually avoid it so much.
Why?
Because please, am I gonna stand on business while listening to Chikwere?
I love that song because it gives me hope. It gives the lover girl in me hope that one day hata mimi kuna mtu atanipenda.
I think we should talk about this because mimi ni kama nazimanga hiyo moto. Nikiona inakuja maji blanket, I'm always ready to shut it off because it can consume me. Nyinyi by the way kutakuwa na my take. That will be the end of my take because sitakuwa nikiedit. I won't be functioning. I'll just be consumed in delusions and about a guy, and for me it won't be it. Okay. I'll just be consumed and it won't be it. So nazima tu ya moto mbio mbio.
I feel like I love keeping that fire on.
Really? Me, I think I can become.
Sasa when I finally get
your one.
Kwani lazima tutaongelelea mapenzi kila episode.
Last episode ya mwisho tutaongelelea episode 8. Nini unajitag?
Niko nashanga kwani kila episode tu lazima tutakuwa hapa tukisema venye tuna mapenzi.
Yaani anasemanga.
Sisi kwenda. Jaribu kuruka nani.
But anyway, it's part and parcel of life. That's the kama hiyo ndo season uko kubali.
Mimi niko kwa season ya kutafuta pesa mtu wangu.
Hivi mwaka ulisema pesa wewe.
Pesa
wewe. Pesa. Anyway, topic of the day. Na siku hizi hatukai sana kwa intro. Siku hizi tuko juu. Man. Anyway, let's get on to the topic of the day. And this is a very sensitive warning. This is a very sensitive topic. And so this is a warning to anyone who may feel triggered. I think it's best that you don't watch this. And because we are talking about self-harm and mental health, and it can be quite triggering to anyone who has experienced this, or you know someone who has experienced this. So we are sending you all the love, all the care, all the hugs, and all the kisses. But it's advisable that you may not watch this until you can be able to consume this information. Yeah. Bye. Have a nice day.
Patana episode
10. Anyway, let's get on to the topic of the day. And the topic of the day is self-harm, because March is Self-Harm Awareness Month. And I mean there's a lot of stigmatization, but watu waelewangu what mbona mtu ajikatakate, mbona mtu ajikatakate, mbona mtu ajiham. Why will people do that to themselves? People really don't understand this. So we are bringing you this information to enlighten you and to bring awareness and educate you, just so that you can know. Yeah. So let's get right on it.
Yeah.
So what is self-harm, Gathoni?
Sio ndio unafaa kunatuambia wewe ndio therapist.
Oh my goodness.
Usianze
hizo za
view. What is self-harm?
So self-harm is when you hurt yourself as a way of dealing with very difficult feelings, painful memories of or overwhelming situation and experiences. Mm-hmm. People tend to take self-harm as a disorder, and it's not a disorder. It's just a way that people cope with what they're going through, and get into the reasons of why people self-harm. And I can just give you the first one. The first one is turning invisible thoughts into something visible, something that you can see. Because when you have thoughts that are overwhelming, you don't know how to deal with them. You feel so overwhelmed, you don't know what to do. And the first thing that comes to mind for most people is the act of harming themselves, so that they can see like it's like a visibility. It's like you're transferring what is here into your physical body and wanting to see it. So it's like unaonanga venye watu wanachukua glass wanavunja, so that's transferring their thoughts into that glass and breaking it. So it's the same way people take a razor or anything sharp and hurt themselves, because that's a way of expressing how they feel and making their thoughts visible. Yeah, that's one of the things I'd say why people self-harm.
But self-harm is not only kujikata.
Yeah.
Kuna kuchoma.
Yeah, you can burn yourself.
There's also overeating and undereating.
Yeah, and
willingly, like knowingly. Like, I'm not going to eat.
Yeah. But that's also a disorder called anorexia nervosa.
Yeah, but sasa
it's
the disorder nasema as self-harm.
Or punishing yourself by not giving yourself food. Ama punishing yourself by overfeeding yourself. All right.
Or even over-exercising.
Yeah.
There's so many methods of
self-harm. Pulling your hair. Pinching yourself.
Picking your nails. And the skin around your nails. There's so many methods of self-harm. And I feel like another reason why people self-harm is to translate emotional pain into physical pain. Do you're feeling so much in you that you're like, sasa mi nitasikia hivi emotionally kweli na naweza sikia hivi physically instead. Like, it's a way of translating.
It's like balancing. Unataka kubalance your mental pain and your physical pain zikwe at the same level, because you don't understand how am I feeling this mentally and physically I'm not feeling in it. It's like you're transferring it into your physical body and making it equilibrium, like making it a balance, so that you can feel at least see fikiri sana, at least it's like at least nimetoa, and you're harming yourself. Yeah, I think That's right. One thing that people really don't understand is that you can't measure how you feel, how your emotional feelings are. You can't measure, you can't say that, okay, as the people who we see, we can't measure this one and akona too much emotional pain. We are the only person who knows what you feel. So the moment they transfer it, people don't really understand why are people doing that. So for me, another reason I'd give why people self-harm is to punish themselves for feeling and experiencing these things, because there are people who are so hard on themselves, and there are people who are, mostly if you have an environment that is not understanding what you're saying, because hadi wewe utaanza kujishuku ama am I the problem, ama by the way hadi mimi kwani najifanya like kwani hadi mimi, but then hadi mimi I'm not the problem, I'm the problem. Unaanza people who are invalidating yourself, you so much, you also start invalidating your own pain and how you feel, so you transfer it to your body and you punish yourself. You're like, I kwani, you punish yourself by
I feel
that.
like hiyo point mi nimelewa in the sense that mtu hailewi mbona ako sad. Like sasa, why are you sad right now? Why are you angry? Why are you depressed? So like you're like punishing yourself for being depressed. Do you believe I've been given everything I literally want? I have the best friends. I have my relationship with God is okay. My relationship with my friends is okay. Like I literally have everything working out for me. Why am I still feeling sad? So Ndona,
you're invalidating yourself because you feel like, am I really even am I supposed even to be experiencing this? Yeah, I have everything I need. Yeah, I think that's another reason why people self-harm. Yeah, another one?
To stop feeling numb. This one I can relate.
You can say.
But yeah, to stop feeling numb. Inafikanga point in when someone is depressed or going through a mental illness where they don't feel anything. Like emotionally and psychologically they don't feel anything. Imefika point yenye umesikia vibaya hadi mwili, hadi akili imejinumb to stop feeling the feelings you are feeling, you get. So to stop, umeshika kenye nimesema hiyo, to stop feeling the feelings. So to stop feeling numb. Sasa the brain is numbing you to protect you. But sasa where you're like, why am I numb? You want to feel something, and because you don't feel happy anymore and you don't feel sad because you're numb, you resort to feeling pain. You get? Yeah, so that is another reason why people self-harm. Because I want to feel something. I want to feel something. So because I can't feel joy right now, I'm depressed, and I can't feel sad, anyway I'm depressed, hadi nimekuwa numb, let me feel pain. Let that be the one. Let me resort to feeling pain. I feel like that's another major reason why people self-harm, and I feel like I can relate to that reason. Tena najua watu when people are depressed inafikanga point wanakuwa tu numb. And they want to feel something.
It's like you're a sack of potatoes just sitting there. Because I was listening to a podcast, I don't know when it was, but it was saying this chick finished Form 4, she finished high school. And this major transition period, she finished uni. She didn't have a job. She just felt depressed, so sad. She couldn't even get out of bed. She was just numb. She was just like anamka hadi kuoga, and that's why people find it so hard to even bathe, to even do what is required of them. They feel so drained. It's like umenyonywa all your energy. It's sucked out of your body. Yeah, that's in case people don't understand what feeling numb is. Yeah, that I can agree with you. I can't relate, but I'm not relating. Creates a reason to physically care for themselves. Physically care for themselves.
I think we can explain that in the sense that when someone is depressed, hawana nguvu ya kujitunza. Actually si ati hawana nguvu, they just don't care. Let me see from experience. Si ati mtu ananga nguvu. Okay, mtu ananga nguvu plus you just don't care, like literally every power you had of caring about anything, it just leaves. You get? So to have a reason, ndio mtu unajua mtu hatakangi kuoga, mtu hatakangi kubrush meno, mtu hatakangi kufanya anything. So some people, watu wanaweza sema if I self harm, I'll have a reason to actually go and bathe. I have to clean off this blood or nini, and I have to take care of my wounds. So that can be that's messed up though. That's messed up, but I can understand how it's a reason.
And I'm thinking also to take care of your physical body, physical self, is when in psychology we have like a resistance. We learn that there is a instincts that resists you. Kuna instincts mbili, kuna kitu inaitwa the death instincts yenye inakuanga na it's the nini of harming others, the nini of dying, the thought of dying, the thought of harming others. So, and we are not the ones who are always willing. Adi, if you look at suicidal cases, most of the people who kill themselves, they try to restrain before they die. They try to restrain because they don't want to. They have been forced into doing this action because maybe of life and the pressures and everything that makes people want to do that. So when it's about taking care of yourself physically, it's because when you harm yourself, when you feel pain, sometimes it clicks you back into like, guy, what have I done? What have I read? It's bringing you back into reality and snaps you back and be like, oh my God, you need to start loving yourself. Kuna kwanga nako ka thought, I need to start loving myself. And then that's why even people will be like, imagine, hello, you call your therapist and you're like, imagine I harmed unajisema because you can't imagine you going back you starting to harm yourself, and you're always like afraid. So you start taking care of yourself until you get used to taking care of yourself, until you go back, and then it becomes a whole cycle. So I feel like also that's a way you can explain that taking care of your physical self. Yeah.
I have any other point, but I feel like because of time and we don't want this to be such a long episode, we can move on to the next, which is ways of not self-harming. How to get out of that hole.
Oh yeah. I think the first one, of course, but the first one is asking for help and reaching out to a professional or a friend or a family member or any online toll-free dials that you can call. And I think I'll put them on the description box in case you know somebody or in case you are going through it. So I think that's one of the ways that is advisable kabisa, to ask for help, because trust me, and I'm not saying this to kuthreaten ama kutishia mtu, but at some point after some point, let's say after 3 or 2 years or after some months, you'll just look back and tell yourself, I wish I could have asked for help at this time. I wish, because those scars are permanent. Everything becomes a part of your story, and just you remembering that part, sometimes as individuals, or as I've heard people say, they feel that they didn't do a good job. They hate themselves for doing that. So they regret, and they always like, I wish I could have just asked for help. I wish I could even have told my parent, or if your parent is not acknowledging it, I wish I could have told my friend. I wish I could have gone to the school therapist. I wish I could have called these free numbers. So I think asking for help, we are always saying ask for help, but I think it's such an important thing to do.
Okay, so when I was getting help for my self-harm for the first time, nilipelekwa tu kwa therapist.
Anakaa hivi
Mtu
hivi.
tu aliokotwa tu mahali akaambiwa sasa wewe juu umesoma psychology, wewe ni therapist. And she told me she can't help me for self-harm.
Julia,
It's like
a broad topic.
I don't know how to explain. It's serious. Acha niseme hivyo. It's serious. Many people are depressed, but very few, according to statistics, usually feel the need to self-harm. So if you do self-harm, alikuwa nasema you need to be medicated.
Okay.
Camera side.
No,
So, because I feel like self-harm is also a condition. It's a coping mechanism and a condition. And it's a condition that doesn't nini on its own. It doesn't survive on its own or operate on its own. It has to, lazima iendanishe na something big. Sasa simu yangu ilikuwa inaendanisha na MDD. But
MDD is
major depressive disorder. But sasa it's a condition, but it can't operate on its own. You get? So that you need to get medicated for it.
That's why it's actually few people in statistics. All right.
That's how, that's why many people can get depressed, but not all of them will self-harm.
All right.
You get? So getting like licensed and professional help is actually also a very big step.
And I hope they get the right people. See, kama sasa, if that therapist couldn't have told you they can't help you and they'd be there for the money, they'd be wasting your time, and you wouldn't have gotten the help that you got.
But my advice to anyone would be, if you're going to get professional help, get professional help. People with papers, people who know what they're doing. And an advice kwa hii si kwa my podcast nilikuwa nasema, but I was telling people if anyone is going through a mental health crisis and they want help, I will advise them to go to an actual mental hospital.
It's
not just any hospital. Any hospital watachukua mtu amesoma psychology. Mental hospital, you have to do clinical psychology. You have to be in med school for it.
Right, I understand. That's another thing that people can do when self-harm.
I feel like it's identifying your triggers and looking for other coping mechanisms.
Right. That's what I wanted to say.
Like, what makes you self-harm? What do you feel when you self-harm? Do you self-harm because you're anxious, or because you're stressed, or because you're sad, or because you're numb? What makes you, like, what drives you to self-harm? What feeling do you feel? And then you're like, you know what, but they fuck this shit, man. Me, I'm going to self-harm. What exactly drives you to self-harm, and what can you do instead of self-harming?
And you know, the first timers for self-harming. So let's say I feel like that's the first time. Now you can go even 2 years, and then later you go back to self-harming. Because you didn't recognize your triggers. You didn't, ulidhani umeacha na hiyo story kaisha. You didn't follow through your progress. You didn't follow through. What if one day I find a similar situation? Like for me, let's say one day I have a client who has experienced a similar something that I was going through maybe in 2022, and maybe let's say I was depressed, or let's say I was depressed. That's the most common disorder that people have. And then since I pursue psychology, and then I have a client who has the same disorders that I have, I identify, and then I have a network counter transference. I transfer my myself, my then self to this client. This client will become my therapist, and I'll become the client. We'll switch roles with the client. So that's on my end. Now with somebody else, maybe atapata a friend, maybe a family member, maybe askize mahali, like somebody might be listening to this and then they remember. You have to identify your triggers. You have to know how you can avoid these triggers. What can I do to avoid them, and what can I do, and how can I cope with this whenever these triggers come? Because hakuna venye utakuwa ukidodge all triggers will always be there, but you have to find other coping mechanisms. Kama ni you're asking for help, ask for help, and whatever your therapist or your counselor or your psychiatrist is telling you, maybe it's journaling that helps, maybe it's praying, maybe it's talking to a friend, or maybe yoga, meditation. Keep on doing that, because those are coping mechanisms that people adapt instead of self-harming. It's the opposite of these unhealthy coping mechanisms and drinking and all that. So I think when you identify your triggers, it's such an important thing.
And there's this, when I was looking for notes,
Yeah.
I came across this blog on helpguide.org. It's like, it's giving you coping mechanisms to do for, okay, wacha tu nikusomee. Kama hii inasema, if you self-harm to express pain and intense emotions, you could paint, start a journal, compose a poem, write, listen to music.
Yeah.
If you self-harm to come and soothe yourself, you could. Like, it
gives you an alternative of what to do.
Yeah, so I feel like that might be helpful to someone. Ziwasomea zote hapa.
You'll just share it to me and then I'll put it on the description box. Guys, the description box is just below your description box. Iko hapo tu chini description, yeah. This episode 9. Yeah, I think another way of how people...
Oh, there's this nini. There's this, I don't know, niite butterfly effect. I mean, it nini. I saw it a long time ago when I was still struggling with self-harm. You draw a butterfly, like if you self-harm on your arms, you draw a butterfly over here, and then now that's your best friend. So every time you feel like self-harming, you imagine you're going to cut that butterfly and you're like, no, I don't want to. You get? So like you make you draw a butterfly and that becomes your like accountability partner or something. You don't want to cut her.
Yeah,
but that's I feel like that works mainly with those people who cut and burn.
Yeah,
like just to draw a butterfly.
Yeah, right.
And
I think that's
feel like
good. That's actually really nice, because it's like you're romanticizing your self, and loving yourself more.
And but I feel like the most important thing to deal with self-harm is acknowledging that,
and coming clean.
Yeah, acknowledging that I do have a problem.
Yeah,
and I have as venye tu tumesema, self-harm is not a condition on its own.
Yeah.
So when you find yourself self-harming, ask yourself, what makes me self-harm?
What could be behind?
Is it depression?
Yeah.
Is it schizophrenia? Maybe the voices in your head are telling you.
Real.
You get it? So try to acknowledge every time you find yourself even thinking of self-harming.
Yeah.
Just ask yourself, what might be causing me to do this?
Yeah, this is such a nice episode. This is so nice. I hope somebody will really get help. And I think I don't have another point on ways we can use the self-harming. Yeah, I think we can. That was the last point. But what I can add is, I think if you're going through this, people really stigmatize. I don't think even many people are going to watch this video, because wako like self-harm. Actually sielewi hadi mbona watu walikuwa nafanya hivyo high school. Nilikuwa naona kama mimi, the first time I ever saw somebody self-harming, let me just come clean and say what I said. I was like, oh my God, how can you do that to yourself? Kwani you don't love yourself? Imagine me, I could never do that. Me najipenda. Me imagine I could never hurt myself. How can you hurt yourself? Kwani ujipendi? That's what I didn't say it. I didn't project it out loud. I just said it to myself, and I was like, oh my God, when you don't feel the pain. But I later got to understand, oh my God, I wish I could have gone and asked this person, what's the problem? How can I help you? Like being accountable for each other. And I feel that's one of the main reasons psychology and mental health is an important part of me so much, because I don't know if I don't know if I'm personally ready to talk about this, but yeah, I mean, let's just let it slide. But trust you me, you get scared the first time and you're like, oh my God, wait, what? What you mean? What have I just done? Like, hey, unajishtukanga uko like, wait, what? Wait, what? You mean it's that bad? And mostly if you're a person who jokes so much, me, I used to laugh about it. I'm like, oh my God, what do you mean? What do you mean you can do that to yourself? So yeah, but I think you can, and at the same time, if you're experiencing this, it's, I know we always say it's going to get better, but trust you me, when you take what is needed and when you do what is needed of you, it will absolutely get better. Yeah. That's actually my take. Yeah. What's your take?
I feel like we should stop judging those
Yeah.
who self-harm. There's so much stigma around venye tu umesema around self-harming, juu hata kuzile za guy. Sasa nini mbaya na huyu? Our such an kusema the brain is not okay.
Yeah.
When you see someone who self-harm, si ati anaamkanga asubuhi anasema acha nijikate kwani
acha nijivute nywele.
It doesn't work like that.
Ama nimeenda wazimu.
That person is sick na si ile ati apeleka madhara ya chapwe. That person is mentally ill.
Yeah.
And
that's a way of showing you how much it is. You remember
how
when you said how we said it's transferring your emotional pain into something physical. I think that's I think you are inafaa kuwa quote yenye kila mtu anajua.
So imagine being in so much emotional pain that you feel the need to harm yourself.
Yeah, to put it into physical pain.
So I feel like we should stop being so judgy around that person and also giving the person time. Si ati unaona mtu na alama uko kai nikuchika breathe.
Kunywa maji.
Brother, relax. Give people grace.
Hapo memwambia pumua, relax.
Give people grace. Give people the chance to be.
But there is so much stigmatization around this. Akila siku kila mtu ataelewa. It will be the joy of my heart. Because guy, how can you... I mean, guy, do you know how much this person is going through it? Nadhani mtu anaweza asema, kwani wembe iko wapi? Lighter iko wapi nijichome? Like, can we just empathize with this person? Can we just put ourselves in that situation? Ujiulize, guy, by the way, what could have made... I wish the minute you see those marks or something like that, you ask yourself, what could be the problem? What could be the problem? Why? No, we don't use the word why. We ask ourselves, what could be the problem? How can I help this person? What could have made them do this? What are those marks for? But be gentle and kind and give them grace. But anyway, we're just sending you all the love.
Yeah, and in case you're struggling with self-harm or anything, we send all the love, there is all the light, and venye tumesema, confide in someone, and if you don't feel comfortable or safe enough to confide in those people around you, our page is open. Our page is always open to anyone who wants to talk about mental health or anything. Basically, ukitaka tu kuongea we kuja Maite.
I think we'll put ile not gonna lie link, ile yenye inakuanga the anonymous link in our highlights, so that people can just, in case you're afraid of sharing your name and your handle, you can just click on that link and send us what you feel and express your emotions. I think we can walk through this journey together. Because we didn't start a podcast for ourselves. Peke. We are building a community and we want you to be part of that community. Yeah.
So I think that's it from me today.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, we're just sending you all the love, all the hugs, all the light. And trust you me, we are sending you all the light because it's such a season of darkness. Yeah, inakwanga such a
All the
season of
kisses.
darkness. Aki mtu aonangi light, you just don't see the light. You just feel like unaona ile tunnel mrefu unakuruma unashangaa kwani hii tunnel haishi.
I love to make matters worse ni your heart is
Heavy. So hadi kusonga uko like wacha tu nikae hapa. Let me just sit here and be comfortable. And you can go with that darkness even 3 years. They're just sitting. And because you don't have that energy. And I'm so proud of everyone. I'm so proud of everyone who got themselves out, who crawled out of the tunnel, who collected themselves. Yeah. And asked for help. Proud of you for real. Proud of you.
Really.
Anyway, that's it for tunaweza ongea hadi kesho. So you know us.
Kwanza hapo kwa mental health tunaweza ongea this
Abu, unajua men's mental health month by the way.
This is September.
Men's ni May. Mental health month ndio September.
See the other way around.
I don't know, but we'll know. Anyway, that's it here on My Take podcast. You can find our Instagram page at My Take. You can find our YouTube page
My Take podcast
and our Spotify page.
My Take podcast
and my TikTok and our TikTok.
My Take pod
and our email.
mytakebynoni@gmail.com.
Ooh! And your page?
My page is personally Kingathoni.
And mine is Miss Mothoni. Till next time. Bye-bye.